Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you're a returning watcher. I'm George, I'm the Good Lad Gamer, and as you can see, the portal is glowing purple, which can only mean one thing. It's a ×2 on Void Shards. I've got 76 on this account and about 70 on my other account, so all in, I'm going to be pulling 140 Void Shards, and hopefully with such a big number, we should start seeing some Void Legendaries coming into the mix. One on each account would absolutely make my day. While I'm at it, I'm also going to be keeping an eye out for the Void champions needed for the Lady Mikage fusion. I've started to lock in the non-Void champions ready for the fusion, but I need to make sure I'm not feeding the Void rares that I need for the Lady Mikage fusion. And I'm doing all of this to gain points in the Champion Chase tournament needed for Blizaar the Howler. If anyone's watched my channel before, you know I enjoy doing the fusions, I enjoy doing the fragment summons, so Blizaar the Howler is an absolute must for me. Enough of an intro, guys, let's get into pulling shards. Alright everyone, a ×2 on Void Shards. Fingers crossed we get Legendaries. I want to see some juicy Void Legendaries that'll absolutely make my day. We're going to start with the 76 on this account. This is my Galek account, and then we're going to go over to my Kale account and do exactly the same. On to the first 10 pull. Fingers crossed. Let's go. A Legendary straight out the gate would be I don't really have words for that. I really don't have words for that. 2 Void Legendaries in one go. I was actually stunned in silence then. A Supreme Aethel and a Sulfurion. What I normally do, guys, is if I pull a Legendary or an epic of any significance, I'll go through their kit, I'll talk through their kit as normal. I apologise, guys, for my silence. I am absolutely blown away that I got 2 Void Legendaries in the same 10 pull. So let's get into Supreme Aethel's kit and see what she's all about. So Supreme Aethel, one of the legendary upgrades of the starters, I guess. So you've got Supreme Galek, Supreme Kale, Supreme Elhain, and Supreme Aethel. I have Supreme Kale, I think, on one of my accounts. But this is my first Supreme Aethel anyway. So, Honor A1 attacks one enemy. If there are any enemies under freeze debuff, also attacks them. Decreases the enemy's attack by 3% whenever this champion hits an enemy with this skill. Stacks up to 30%. Also increases this champion's attack by 3% whenever they hit an enemy with this skill. Stacks up to 30%. Honor A2 attacks all enemies, will ignore strengthen, ally protection and unkillable buffs on enemies under a freeze debuff, then has a 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. Honor A3 places a 50% increase attack, a 30% increase crit rate and a shield buff on this champion for 3 turns, then grants an extra turn. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's attack. And then on their A3, on Aethel's, A3 has a 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff on attackers for 1 turn when hit while under shield debuff, or shield buff. Has a 35% chance of placing a freeze buff on all enemies for 1 turn whenever a shield buff on this champion is removed by damage. So that is Supreme Aethel. And I actually personally don't know that much about Supreme Aethel. So I don't really have much to say about her because I don't know how to use her, I don't know where she's used or what she's good for. So I might have to go away and do a bit of research on her and then update you on the next video that I do. I'm still absolutely just blown away that I pulled 2 Void Legendaries in the same one. But there's the first one, Supreme Aethel, and then we'll go into Sulfurion. I think it's probably Sulfurion. And what an amazing looking champion, really cool. I mean, he looks like he uses a very similar character model to the other lizard men, but I mean all of these elements on him, all the fire and everything like that, just looks really cool. A really good looking champ. So on his A1, attacks one enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 15%, also fills the turn meter of all allies except this champion by 10% when attacking a target under HP burn. On his A2, his or her, on their A2, places a HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns and instantly activates the burn on all enemies. Then places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to the damage inflicted by the HP burn activation. The value of the shield buff cannot exceed 25,000 HP. On there, A3 revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 40% turn meter, grants an extra turn. For this champion, I would assume. Don't know, I'll have to test that on this champion. And then on their A3, fills the turn meter of all allies by 5% for each HP burn debuff placed. Whenever a HP burn debuff is activated, heals all allies by 5% of their max HP. Whenever a HP burn debuff is activated on Scavag and Tainted Scavad Spiderlings or Tainted Spiderlings, heals all allies by 1% of their max HP. Basically, for the spider bosses. Whenever a HP burn debuff is removed from an enemy, places a 50% decreased resistance debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Whenever an ally is killed by an enemy under HP burn, fills this champion's turn meter by 20%, increases this champion's speed by 7% for each active HP burn debuff. That is a mouthful to say, that skill in particular. But basically the champion all revolves around HP. Looks like does extra damage or you know, does extra things to the enemies, and also places stuff on your champions, increased turn meter, shields, etc. Health, not shields. But yeah, there's Sulfurion. That's my second Void Legendary in my first 10 pool, which I can't believe I'm saying out loud. That is insane. And I am just going to jump straight into the next lot, I think. If I've got luck like that today, I'm just going to keep going for sure. Let's go on to the second 10 pool. I can't believe that's just happened. I really can't believe that. I don't think I've ever had 2 legendaries in the same 10 pool. And I've been playing this game for about 3 years, I think. No one of note so far in this one. A Kemptum. Is a Kemptum the champion I need for the Lady Mikage? I'm going to double check that quickly. Sorry everyone, no one else of note in that one. I don't want to buy anything. And we're looking at fusions. No, it's not. It is Weregun, the Sun Curse, that I need to look out for. Weregun, the Sun Curse. But I do have one of the rares now, so that's nice. I might have to fuse him if I can't pull him. On to the next one, though. On to the next temple. And fingers crossed, we get another legendary today. That would be crazy. But I guess out of 140, you would expect at least 1. But if I get more than 2, I'm going to be absolutely buzzing. I can't believe that's just happened. A Reliquary Tender and a Cold Heart in this pool. 2 great champions. And actually, Draconis is actually an alright champion. He might be quite good for early game Scaraboss. If you're struggling with a champion for Scaraboss, Draconis is the guy for you. Either him or Metal Shaper from the Lizard Men. But Cold Heart and Reliquary Tender, great champions, both of them. On to the next temple. Let's go. 1,100 points. I don't know what that gets me. I don't know what these are all worth. I know that if I pull all of my Void Shards, I'm absolutely going to have enough points for the Champion Chase tournament. So I'm not really looking at the points or anything like that. White Dryad Nia and Suai Firstborn. And Painkeeper. Painkeeper can be used for a budget unkillable if you have her and a man-eater matched up. So definitely a champion to keep an eye on. No one else really of note in that one, not even the epics. On to the next temple. If I get another legendary, I might have to just stop the video, to be honest. I don't know if I can handle that. Another Reliquary Tender. No one else, not all rares, come on, not all rares. 2 Reliquary Tenders and a Rowan. Rowan used to be the clan boss poisoner go-to because she's a Void champion, but not anymore. I need to make a little bit of room, guys, just to be able to pull the last lot of these shards, the last 26, and then I'll be right back. Right, on to the last 26, 2 10 pulls, and I will pull the random 6 just because. 1,100 points again. I think that's all rares except 1 epic. Another legendary. Oh my god. Marichka is quite a champion to pull that. I mean, I don't know about Sulfurion, I don't know about the legendary Aethel, but Marichka is a menace and a very meta PvP champion at the moment. So let's go into Marichka's kit. If only I could pull her brother, that would be really nice. But what a great looking champion, guys. An absolutely epic looking champion, or a legendary looking champion. Let's go through her kit and I'll tell you why she's so unique and what makes her a good champion in PvP. Attacks one enemy, one random ally will team up and join the attack. The ally joining the attack will always use their default skill. If Taras the Fierce is on the same team, they will always be the one joining the champion's attack. On a A2, fully restores all allies, decrease max HP, then heals all allies by 40% of this champion's max HP. Places a shield buff and a protected strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield buff is equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. And on array 3, removes all debuffs from all allies, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%, fills the turn meter of each ally by an extra 5% for each debuff removed from them, increases the resistance of all allies by 5 for each debuff removed, grants an extra turn if 5 or more debuffs were removed. And then on array 3, which is what makes her most unique in my opinion and what makes her such a menace in my opinion, revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 75% turn meter whenever this champion is killed. Places a block damage buff on all allies for 1 turn whenever an ally receives a bomb, poison or HP burn. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. So what makes her a menace for me in PvP is I will wipe out an enemy team, but Marichka has really high HP, really high resistance, etc. So she's the last one to die if you're playing on auto in particular, which I do to just farm my coins every day. And then you get to her, and because she's the last one to die, she then revives everyone with 75% turn meter, and they take out my team. And it is the most frustrating thing in the world. Or there's 2 revivers, her and another reviver on a team, so she revives them when they're dead, and then the reviver revives her, and then it's just a constant cycle. So Marichka, an absolutely epic champion, or a legendary champion, and I'm so happy I've got her. I don't know if I'm competitive enough in PvP, but I absolutely will be able to if I use Marichka. What a great champion, what a great pull. 3 Void Legendaries on 1 account is insane. That is crazy. Enough said though, let's do the last 10 pull, the last 6, and then we'll go on to the other account, and fingers crossed we get just as many good champions, because oh god, I'm at a loss for words. Honestly, a loss for words. We've got Prundar, Fellhound, might be a good entry-level champion for farming campaign. Painkeeper again, Azure, no one to write about. Inquisitor Shamal actually might be a champion to keep an eye on. He's really good for some rotations of Hydra. So if you've got him and you haven't ever built him out, maybe look into him. Maybe he could do some real good work for you in Hydra. On to the last 6 though. We'll pull these individuals and then we'll go into my other account and do exactly the same over there. And hopefully I come out of this with 6 Void Legendaries, because I don't know if anyone else will be saying that after their Void Shards this weekend. I think I might be the only person saying that, because that is an insane amount. I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. No one of interest out of the 6 yet. I've got 3 more to go. And if we get another Legendary, I don't even know. I don't even know what I would do. I have kind of no words to describe what's just happened at all. But no one at all. On to the last one. It's an epic at least, that's quite good. And it is an Eurogrim. I've got Eurogrim. Eurogrim was one of those champions that was really OP and really OP. And got nerfed nearly instantly. So not everyone used him or her to solo farm dragon and stuff like that, because they are a really good champion. But as you can see, guys, I get a mythical book, 2 legendary books. I got the shards, an epic book, some energy, and the small soul stone. That is a lovely amount, actually. Those books will come in really handy, especially for all those Void Legendaries that I've just pulled. So I will be using those and the shards as we needed. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'll go onto my other account and we'll do exactly the same over there. And fingers crossed, we get 3 Void Legendaries out of that one as well. That would be lovely. And here we are, guys, on the Galek account. And let's just get straight into it. I'm going to ignore all the red dots. And hopefully, I got slightly less, 67. Hopefully, 3 Void Legendaries out of this one as well. And if I get one on this first 10 pull, it's going to blow my mind. But with 800 points, I'm definitely not. Ostrox Bone Glaive. I actually don't know anything about this champion. Never even seen that champion. Is that a new addition, maybe? Maybe recently added to the game. Should we have a look? I mean, that's a cool looking champion. I feel like that champion looks a bit like a bit Egyptian themed. Looks like quite a cool champion. I'm not going to go into Ostrox's kit because I don't know anything about Ostrox, and I don't know if Ostrox is a good or a bad champion, and I don't want to waste anyone's time if they are a bad champion. So on to the next temple. No one else of note in that one. Let's go for a legendary. 1,400 points. No one so far. Tolf the Maimed and Skytouch Shaman. And Basher. That's not a legendary. None of those are legendaries. Skytouch Shaman is quite good. Revive on Death. Basher's quite good. Got an attack on every ability that Basher has. But nothing else really of note in that one. Renegade to reset your skills. But I think everyone knows about Renegade these days. So I'm not going to go into a White Dryad Nia. Not interested. There's another legendary. Emic Trunk Heart, okay. I've got Emic. Emic was a fusion or a fragment or whatever he was. I've got an Emic on both accounts. And I thought Emic was going to change my Galek account clan boss team, and he really didn't. But he is a unique champion. He does have a unique ability on his A3, so I will go into his kit. So let's just get into it. A1 attacks one enemy, increases the value of all shield buffs on this champion by 25%, also increases the value of any shield buff on any ally with the lowest HP by 25%, increases the value of the shield buff cannot exceed 10,000 HP. On his A2, attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP, decreases the cooldown of all ally skills except this champion's by 1 turn. So what is interesting in this one is, well, A, he decreases the cooldown of his allies, so the rest of your team, but also that he places a shield equal to his max HP. So the higher his HP, the higher the shield is going to be. And then on his A3, which is what his unique part is places an unkillable debuff on all allies for 2 turns, also places a taunt buff and a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. So what a taunt is essentially the same as a provoke, but you place the taunt buff on you, so then all of the enemies attack that champion with the taunt buff, rather than provoke where you're placing it, so you don't need to put accuracy into his kit. And then on his A3, on his A4, or his passive, when attacked while under a shield buff, has a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by 2 turns. Occurs once per attack. Whenever the ally's HP drops below 20%, increases the damage dealt by that ally by 20%. So he's a very unique champion. I thought he was going to be able to change my clan boss team, and he didn't. Maybe I got the speed tune wrong, maybe because of some of his other unique skills that he's got going on. I don't know what happened, but he absolutely ruined my clan boss team, and I had to revert back to Warcaster, which is not a champion I thought would be sort of more useful than Emic, but I have built him on both of my accounts. I do use him, but I'm probably not utilising him as much as I would like to. So there's Emic, and we'll just go straight into the next 10 pull. No one else of note in that one. Bellower, who has an attack on every move, not Basher, which is what I said at the start of this pull. It's not Basher. Yeah. No one of note in this one. Well, I say no one of note. We've got one of the best champions in the game, Coldheart, a rare, but no one of note from my account personally. But yeah, Coldheart, if you're struggling to take down bosses and turn meter of bosses and really big damage on bosses, then Coldheart is the champion for you. Paragon you can use for the Paragon cheese, because if you put him with the right speed, he can make himself unkillable sort of infinitely, to be honest. And then Painkeeper, which I mentioned before, can be used in a budget unkillable. On to the next 10 pull. We're getting a lot of 1,100 points, and I'm hoping that's because there's another What is this luck today? What is going on? I don't know what's going on. I should save up Void Shards more often. This is insane. Right, we've got a Demitha who does a unkillable buff, so she can be used for some really high-end clan boss teams. Not a clan boss team I'm working towards, and not my first Demitha, but still a really good champion to get. And then Seer, who might be the MVP of the entire game, especially for wave content, for Doom Tower and stuff like that. So Seer can do a buff sweep, so she removes all buffs and then absolutely smashes the enemies as an AoE. So that's what she's most notably known for. And she can also reduce her turns or grant an extra turn on her A1, which makes her very useful for wave content. I need to make a little bit of room, guys, and then I'll be right back. I was just making some room and feeding some of my champions, and it was a really weird sensation to me. I've progressed so far in the game, and I've got most champions that you kind of need as a sort of basis to get going in the game. I've just been feeding cold hearts, which is a really weird sensation to me. It's not something I thought I'd ever sort of do, but with the luck that I've had today and 4 Void Legendaries in the same video, I think it's safe to say I can start feeding my excess cold hearts at this point. So the last 10 pull, guys, then we'll pull the 7 random ones, and hopefully we can see another Void Legendary. That would, you know, I might be pushing my luck here, but that would be really nice. Really, really nice. But it looks like it's going to be an all rares kind of affair right now. We've got a Renegade, Draconis, and no one else of note in that one. Let's get on to pulling the 7. First one. Did some buffering then. That's a good sign. It's a rare. Is it a rare? Another cold heart. She will be fed, unfortunately. I think I've probably got 3 built out on this account, so I don't need any more, I don't think. A Bardal Fellhammer. An epic, not an epic I know anything about, but maybe a really good epic for all I know. A Umbral Enchantress, another epic, no one to write home about. Might be quite a good champion for Faction Wars. Not going to look at her kit though. I think I have seen her used in Faction Wars, but not someone I'm interested in. By the time I did Faction Wars, I had champions like Duchess to help me out. I didn't need those. Not to brag or anything like that, but it means I haven't looked into those champions very much. A Lightsworn, loads of epics out of these 7. A Lightsworn, a rare, a Bloat Wraith, and then on the last one, an epic, arguably a legendary. Another Seer, guys, a champion that I use nearly every day in all dungeon content, all Doom Tower content. I use that every day, so a really nice champion to end the video on. So 140 Void Shards and 4 Void Legendaries. I think that is good going. Let me know if you think, I don't know, maybe I'm being sponsored by Polarium or something like that. I promise you I'm not. But anyway, guys, let me know how you get on with these Voids, and let me know how you get on with the sort of points and the champions that you've pulled. And I will see you next time for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.